If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM to get started. We here at the Creative Insomniac, which is a Black and biracial owned brand and business, would also like to support other Black and multicultural businesses. With that being said, this portion of the episode is sponsored by Limitlistics. Limitlistics is the study of knowing no limits in your life. It is an everyday mantra. I see no limits, I speak no limits, and I know no limits. It's not just a brand, it's a lifestyle. Head over to limitlistics.com where you can purchase merchandise such as shirts, tote bags, glassware, and mugs. They also do custom orders. If you have a vision, they can make it a reality. So again, head over to www.limitlistics.com. Again, the website is www.limitlistics.com. You are now listening to the Creative Insomniac. Welcome back to the Creative Insomniac. I am your host, Selena LeBron, and this is another off-the-cuff episode with the Gruntled one.
The Ungruntled one.
You told me it's the Gruntled one.
No, you just weren't listening.
No, you said it's the Gruntled one.
The Ungruntled one.
The Gruntled one. And I literally said, I thought it was the Ungruntled one. Refer to the Twitter, sir.
This is what makes me ungruntled.
Refer to the Twitter. Come on, refer to the Twitter.
The Ungruntled number 1.
Where is it? I need visual clarification for this.
Oh, okay, I'll whip it out right here.
I need. Thought I'd throw that in there at the last second.
Absolutely necessary.
It was absolutely necessary for the. It's the Ungruntled one, y'all.
Bam!
Flag on the play.
I'll accept your apologies.
Yeah, you ain't getting it.
This time.
Anywho, welcome back to an off-the-cuff episode of the Creative Insomniac with the Ungruntled one.
That's right.
So what are we going to talk about today?
I was listening through my playlist of long time eclectic sounds and music favorites, and I was going through some of the bands that I would love to see one more time, and one of them unfortunately just lost their drummer, Foo Fighters. If I'm very curious somewhere down the road where they go in terms of, do they go back on tour? Does it happen anytime soon? Because I would love to see them. Like the energy and just like the totality of the type of person that Dave Grohl is, like the fucking like amazing human that he is makes it so easy to root for someone like that. So I would love to see someone like them on tour again. And also, like, I don't know, has there been any updates about Linkin Park ever?
No, I was just about
bringing it back?
I was just about to mention them. They hinted at something. I'm pretty sure I saw Mike Shinoda put out something saying that they were working on something, but it was very vague.
Really?
Yeah, it was very vague.
About something, working about on something, huh?
Yeah, I would have to like scroll through Instagram just to find it again, but I think, don't quote me on that, I think he hinted at working on something, and I hope they are, because like we're still here, the fans are still here, we're here for it. Come on.
Well, you heard it here, folks. Mike Shinoda, you told her. She said, quote me.
I did not.
Something about something.
I did not.
Take it to the bank.
Which is interesting that you brought up Foo Fighters too, because I think I was talking to you about this the other day with all of the kids of like really eclectic bands, like on like Chester Bennington's kids, Cornell,
yeah.
What you call it, Kurt, his daughter, if they would like come together and make a band, or at least like a project or something, because they're all actually musically talented.
Yeah.
All of them. Like, that would be crazy, right?
What sparked that conversation, there was a video that went around and did the rounds recently of Taylor Hawkins' kid, his son, playing drums on a Foo Fighters cover by his like local band or kids in his neighborhood covering My Hero.
Yeah, like
you watch that and you're like, damn, that hits deep.
Yeah, and I think they would if all the kids got together and they did like a project, that'd be pretty awesome. I'd pay to see that.
Yeah,
I'd pay to see that.
Yeah, it's amazing the amount of just musical talent that just flows from one generation to the next, and you can see the passion in it. When it was maybe a couple years ago, because the last time Slipknot was on tour, Corey Taylor had his kids on stage with them, and you could just see the passion in when they're playing. It's like when you grow up with that, like it's in your blood.
They started a band. His son, Griffin, they started a band too, so it's there. It's in the blood, you know, and they're gonna be the ones that carry the music on for the next few generations too. So, and I mean, his son, Corey Taylor's son is he's a little mini me of him. Like, his vocals when he gets older, and because his vocals are still changing. When he gets older, he's what they call, what was Corey?
Translation, when his balls drop.
No, Corey Taylor's his nickname is the Throat, because of his massive, or the neck. They call him the Neck because of his massive neck.
That's someone else that's called the Throat.
Hey yo, all right, listen. I'm gonna have to edit that out. Idiot. So he's gonna definitely make his mark as well. And you know, it's interesting to see all the new I like bands that experiment with different sounds too, like the Bring Me a Horizon, what they did with Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's
that stage was a lot to watch in that video.
Yeah, because it's easy to stay in your lane when you have a sound and you've established a fan base. It's easy to stay in that lane and be very successful. And I think that's one of the areas where there's a lot of risk, because if you leave that comfort zone and it don't work, you can kind of just like fizzle out. You can kind of just use up all of that fan capital and lose that momentum, because a lot of being a rock band is, at least I'm not a musician, you are, but
yeah.
what I can see and just following, you kind of like, you got to strike while the iron's hot, and when that creativity is at its height, and when you're doing that, you're just pumping out just like fucking hit after hit, banger after banger, and song after song, band like album after album. And if you use those precious like top creative years to step out of your comfort zone, you can kind of just like, it's like you use it or lose it a lot of times, and it's hard to get that back, get that maximum creativity and get that out again to reach that moment, you know. And it's one of those things where, like, you praise a band that steps out of that comfort zone and makes it happen and makes it work. But we were just talking about Chester in Linkin Park. Like, that was a band that stepped out of that comfort zone. They had the balls to step out of that comfort zone, and for whatever reason, I know there's a lot of like back and forth about, they followed poor musical direction from their manager, or whatever the case may be. Maybe it was just them trying to just branch out. But that was one of those bands that had the balls to step away from their comfort zone, and arguably it didn't work. And
yeah, like they're that point when they stepped away from like the Reanimation and that sound that they had for Meteora and that
right.
and
after Meteora, their second album, that they switched it up.
That sound that new sound that they had, like I forget the name of the album that the Transformers soundtrack is on.
I know this New Divide was the main song off of it. The main
but I love that song. But every other song on there, it just wasn't the Linkin Park that I was a fan of. Yeah. But I didn't stop being fans of them. I just didn't listen to the new stuff. I just replayed the old stuff. Yeah. And that was kind of how they kept my fandom, because it was just like, everybody I guess goes through that phase where you just experiment with this different stuff. So like you said, like stepping out of your comfort zone, like my background was R&B first, right? And then when I joined Infinite Plan, my first band, it was more soft poppy rock, I want to say. Like you said, following like bad music advice from like the manager, we kind of, not to bring up old wounds or talk bad about anyone, but we kind of fell into that. Me and the other band members at the time kind of fell into that with the person that I was co-writing with. Unbeknownst to me, was trying to kind of push us towards a Christian rock band, and we didn't have the slightest idea that was happening until it was happening. And nothing against Christian rock bands. It's just I would like to know that's where I'm headed, because I'm a huge Breaking Benjamin fan. I think Flyleaf was low key Christian rock.
Looking at the script, like, we're talking a lot about Christ here. What's going on? What's up with this?
Yeah, and it took me a minute to catch on, and I was like, wait, what is going on?
We cool and all, but damn, it's like the fourth time this verse. Like, what the fuck?
I was like, wait a minute, like I would at least like to be in on that. And so when that didn't work out, and I joined, I didn't join. I formed with the help of, shout out to Tony Paris of Blue Movie, and shout out to Nando Man, who they were both a part of like really great and like iconic bands. Tony and his band Blue Movie, Black Film, they're still making music. Check them out on iTunes and YouTube, if anything. If you guys, if you're not following them, if you haven't heard of their music, but yeah, I met Tony through Fernando, and they were in a band called I Despise, and they were more hardcore metal, and that was just going back to what we were talking about, a big step out of my comfort zone. I had never sang like heavy hardcore metal, and now that's all I, after being around Mr. Paris over here for like a good 6 or 7 months, he whipped me into shape, and now I'm growling, and and that was a nice and
the music too, yeah,
that was a that was a nice step out of my comfort zone and a learning curve. So when artists take that dive and they switch it up, Linkin Park, Jay-Z,
yeah,
those kind of mashups and collaborations, it really makes for some interesting,
Yeah, and like, so yeah, back to what you were saying for a second. Shout out to Tony and to Fernando, but I think that's one of the things where some bands or some artists sometimes go wrong, is the field wide pressure, the music industry pressure, is to push your sound more pop, more popular, more generic. And they want you to be more poppy, they want you to be more popular in terms of like what that means for the industry, more radio ready, because they can push your record more, they can push your single more, studio can sell more. And oftentimes, by doing that, you lose your sound. And a lot of the bands, a lot of the artists that are pushed that way and lose their way, lose what made them popular. And what made them popular was not being generic, not being poppy, not being the same sound. What made Linkin Park so great is that they were different from what was already out there. You had a few like maybe more indie bands that had a similar sound, like 311, maybe shortly before them.
He's going above my age now, y'all.
Like that mix of rock, like hip hop and rock. It's kind of like what Cypress Hill maybe, or a little bit of like maybe Beastie Boys before them. But when you start mixing in that heavier rock with that hip hop in there and that sound, there was really nothing that could match that in the early 2000s. And then you try to push them towards what everybody else sounds like, and they're no longer different. And there's tons of examples of that throughout the industry where they had their thing, and then their manager or the studio pushed them towards something more, I don't know, like cookie cutter, and all of a sudden now they don't have that niche that they once had.
Do you think they did that because what's the question I want to ask you? So that like kind of rock mixed with hip hop sound that Linkin Park had. Mm-hmm. Would you say that like POD and like what's another band that kind of like, would you say they had the record label had to push Linkin Park towards the more poppy sound because so many other bands started to use the same formula? That's the word I'm looking for. The same formula, and started to push out the same sound, and so then it became saturated. So they were like, well, let's see how you do if you sound poppy,
I mean, if the sound that Linkin Park had transitioned to was not so cookie cutter and generic, because it was just so generic and poppy-ish. Yeah. Then I can see a point, but that wasn't the case. And there was nothing about the early 2000s and the amount of records that sold for Meteora, the Reanimation before that, and then the original album, like their first full-length album, that suggested that there wasn't an appetite for that sound. Mm-hmm. Like it wasn't like, okay, they're played out, like it's the same thing. They had a fan base there. They had etched out their own like fandom. So no amount of singles that POD sells with Youth of the Nation was gonna have the studios change what Linkin Park was sounding like. From what I read, it was the manager that wanted them to change their sound.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I kind of feel like I remember hearing that Chester wanted to just do something a little less heavy.
Yeah, well, I think maybe it was taking a toll on
his vocals.
Yeah.
That shit, yeah, man. Not everybody got that neck like Corey.
I mean, like...
Not everybody got that neck. And even he switched from Slipknot to... He had to take a break from Slipknot to Stone Sour. You know?
Yeah.
Don't ask me about the stuff he's doing now with the CM. And I'm a huge Corey Taylor fan. Oh my God, if you ever hear this, I love you. But the single with the rapping, I don't know. It took me for a loop. But that goes back to what you were talking about.
Corey motherfucking Taylor.
About artists stepping out of their comfort zone. When he started rapping with the guitar, I was just looking at the screen like, I'm not sure how I'm supposed to feel about this. But then he had Immortal Technique, I think. On his he pulled out Immortal Technique.
He did.
That's some magical shit right there, okay? That is some magical shit. So it's like I liked it, but I didn't like it at the same time because I'm so used to, his other work.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember a few years back, Shinedown had... Oh shit, man! I'm not gonna remember the name of the album now, but they came out with an album a few years ago, and it was a different sound. It was slightly different than what they had established with their fan base, and they had gotten some blowback from their fans, and it wasn't too much of a diversion off of what their sound was like. But eventually, like the lead singer Brent, he was like, guys, you gotta mix it up and explore your musical range every once in a while without losing touch of what makes you popular. You can't just turn out the same thing over and over again and expect you guys to buy it. Mm-hmm. So there's a delicate balance there, absolutely, of staying true to what makes you popular and what makes you, gives you that passion to churn out that great music, but at the same time, not just like completely abandoning what makes you so good.
Yeah, that's kind of what Bring Me the Horizon is going through now. Like, if you go into there is a group on Facebook that we're both in. That's the SiriusXM Octane fans, and man, it's kind of brutal in there. Opinions are everywhere. Opinions are everywhere in that group, but that it's like a love-hate thing, because you can see how hardcore fans are about their music, especially with metal and rock. We do not play. We do not play. And Bring Me the Horizon is, I think, when their last album came out, the Post-Human Experience, which was kind of like a homage to what was going on during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And the album, the artwork was, I think that was one of my favorites. Oh, we played that all through the pandemic, just bugging out.
yeah, that CD got a lot of mileage. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, you gotta be froggy enough to branch a little, like we were saying. You're always gonna have people that's gonna complain and they're gonna bitch, but do you stay true to yourself? And I think that, to me, I never got the impression from Shinoda or Chester or anyone there that there was passion behind the music that they were pouring out after Meteora. And I think, to me, that was the biggest thing. Because true fans of rock music, of heavier rock music, of metal, they genuinely love the music because of the truth and the honesty and the genuine nature of the lyrics. Like, those, they're writing their own words. They're not getting a script from some random 58-year-old guy that's going to hand it to some 20-year-old poppy music star is going to sing it as if it's hers. So, like, that's their music, that's their lyrics, and you're pouring your heart into that, and then you can definitely tell a lot of times in the music, because it's like you can't just hear the words, you can hear the blood, sweat, and tears. Like, you can hear the passion in there. Mm-hmm. And like listening to the last few albums for Linkin Park, I never got the impression that the passion was behind the music. It was being churned out because, like, that's what was expected of them. Mm. And, like, that's what did it for me.
Yeah, like, you could hear, if you compared lyrics, like, if we had a lyric sheet in front of us, if you compared, like, points of authority, and then you read the lyrics to that, and then read the lyrics to One More Light or something. I think that's the name of the song. And it's just like that repetitive hook, that, the poppy 101 formula.
Yeah. Wash,
rinse, and repeat.
Yeah.
And it was definitely upsetting. But that's, that's what's really grinding your gears.
Yeah, I mean, that was front of mind. In the last few minutes, just going over that, because I had been thinking about concerts that I have been to, the concerts I enjoyed the most, those that I would like to see again in a sometime in the near future, hopefully in a world where fucking COVID isn't everywhere. That would be nice. And Foo, seeing them would definitely be up there. Seeing some remade version of Lincoln would definitely be up there. Bring Down the Horizon would definitely be up there.
If you had to replace, well, not replace, but like, if you had your pick of who you would want to replace Chester in Linkin Park,
I wouldn't.
Who do you think?
I wouldn't want an established sound.
Oh, you want someone unknown?
Yeah, I would want, because you get an established sound, and they're probably already dedicated to a band and doing, covering Chester's lyrics as a gig for the side while their other band is taking time away. Like, I want somebody that's gonna be able to dedicate years to that project if that's what Shinoda and the rest of the band wants. I don't even know if the rest of the band wants to put things back together. I mean, I'll trust your quote of something about something, but I don't know. I mean, it's very
something about something, y'all.
It's fucking deep. But I don't know. I mean, something that tragic. Who knows if that's something that they want to revisit? Maybe, I don't know.
But if you had to choose out of a pool of singers from not very well-established bands, who would you choose? Da, da, da. I need the Jeopardy soundbite.
There's I don't know the guy's name.
That's helpful.
But the dude from
you're giving me dead air here. You're giving me dead air here.
Because you put me on the spot.
That's what we do here. That's what we do.
What is the band member from Affinity Affliction or Amity Affliction? Their lyricist or their lyricist there. If their lead vocal guy and that band decided to have a hiatus, I wouldn't mind seeing how he would sound in that role. Or Adam from 3 Days Grace, I think would sound great.
Why guys, though? Just mix it up. I would like to see Lacey Strome. Or...
She couldn't...
What?
Nah.
Bruh.
Nah.
You're tripping.
All 4'6" of her.
Yeah, she's so short. She's so cute, though. She's so tiny and cute. But I would like to see Lacey Sturm or
the chick from In This Moment. That bitch is crazy. Oh man,
Maria Brink.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be an interesting sound. I don't know if it's a sound that they would want, but I think she could make it her own.
She's untethered right now. That's why I think it would be, and it would be a switch up because.
What you mean? They're not a thing in this moment?
No, I'm talking about Flyleaf.
I'm talking about In This Moment.
I know, but they are a thing.
That's what I said.
Right,
that's why
but
I'm
you
surprised.
said you wanted someone that would be dedicated. Lacey Sturm is not a part of any band right now. She's on her own, doing her own thing. That's why I think that would work. And they're all... When she came with her sound, that was something different, too. Like, not for nothing, In This Moment kind of has that poppy... They got a little poppy formula for them, too. Maria Brink, aside...
Well, yeah, but,
doesn't. She got her own raspy, really good...
But that's why I think Maria Brink wouldn't be a bad choice, because her lyrics, her contribution to their sound is not poppy.
I would have to... I disagree. I think Lacey Sturm would be a better choice because they were out in around the same time, Linkin Park and Flyleaf, and female vocal wise, when she was like, I will brag, she fucking... That shit was different. Aside from oh my god, Evanescence, Amy Lee. Mm-hmm. Aside from Amy Lee, I think Lacey Sturm's, her raspiness and her ability to do the screams, because Maria Brink she live, at least from the clips that I've seen, live, she can't hit those. Like, she puts on a good show, but the vocals aren't, it's a strain.
I've never seen her live. I don't know.
I mean, I'm talking about from, like, clips and stuff, where it seemed like it was a struggle. We saw Lacey Sturm live, and she took it out the park, and I think...
Yeah, but she performed like half a song.
It was still amazing.
Fucking like 40 seconds, though.
It was amazing. For all 4'3" of her, it was amazing. So I think that would be great.
Anything could be amazing for 40 seconds.
I think... Stupid. I think she would actually be a great addition to Linkin Park. But you gotta hear, like, you gotta think of, like, because it has to complement Mike Shinoda too. Yeah. Because he's gonna be rapping. Just think about it. I'm sure there's like a mashup of Flyleaf and Linkin Park somewhere, like a DJ mix or something. There's gotta be like a mashup where you could just hear it. I think that would be interesting. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Maria Brink or Lacey Sturm to replace, well, not to replace, but to take the mantle of lead singer for Linkin Park. What are your thoughts or suggestions? If you have another suggestion, I'm leaning towards it being a female. Not biased or anything, but I think it would be a nice refresh.
I'm not biased or anything.
I just think it would be a nice refresh.
Just happen to have a uterus.
That's right. That's right.
I think the dude from Amity Affliction would be pretty excellent.
It'd be nice if you knew his name.
Yeah, well, I don't. You fucking put me on this spot.
Since you're pushing the agenda, you should at least know the man's name,
pushing
sir.
The agenda.
That's right. Since you're
what?
Since you're pushing the agenda, that's right. You should at least know the man's name. Thank you.
Unnecessary sound bites.
It's not unnecessary. It's very necessary. Very necessary. Right? Thank you.
1978 soundtracks.
It's not a 1978 soundtrack.
Joel Birch.
The Google has informed him of the gentleman's name.
The Bing.
I am actually really hardcore now thinking about it. I think Lacey Sturm right now, she would be perfect. She has no attachments right now.
So what happened with Flyleaf?
I don't know. They just kind of split up, I guess. And,
I think, and I don't know where the Adam's new band is. It's not Apocalyptica. That was his side project while he was with 3 Days Grace. He left them. He was with somebody else. I mean, he probably still is. But
wasn't it Saint Estonia?
Yes. But he kind of just jives to the beat of his own drum. I know that he didn't want to continue the sound that 3 Days Grace was going down. Like, I think 3 Days Grace wanted to be a little more poppy. And he decided to walk. So, if he wanted something that was a little harder, and I'm not feeling all that much Saint Estonia. I think that would be pretty awesome. But also, Adam is incredibly talented, and he could probably make it as a solo artist. So
the guy from Starset is pretty good too. We met him at the where was that? In Atlantic City, the concert they did recently. He's pretty good too. For vocal backing, I think.
The dude from Seven Dust sounds amazing. That could be an interesting sound with them. This is all assuming that they still want to actually perform.
Yeah, I'm putting my full force and my full vote behind Lacey Sturm now. I think I can't get that thought out of my head now. And I really want to know in the comments and send me a voice memo what your ideas are of who you would like to see as a singer for Linkin Park, because I mean, it's obviously it would be heartbreaking for them to even just think about going on without Chester, but at this point it's like, as a musician, they're probably like, it hurts, but there's that part of you as a musician that wants to go on and make music and continue to.
Well, like not right after, but shortly after the news broke, one of the things I was always curious about wasn't as much whether or not they want to go back to performing, because I think everybody just expected they were going to need space and time, obviously. My question was always, as soulless and shitty as the music industry is, what is their contract like with their studio, and is their studio going to try and twist their arm to get them back into the recording studio?
You mean the label?
To get them back into the studio to pump out more music. Like, what are the outs in that contract? What is the label looking to give them in terms of space? Do they have... Because some contracts, there's timetables for the amount of albums you pump out. You need to pump out at least 5 albums in the next 10 years or 12 years, something like that.
And they prorate you too. Like, you owe us a fuck ton of money, and in order to pay us back, you pay us back by pumping out 5 albums in the next XYZ years.
And these labels can be real pieces of shit, so I don't know what that setup is like and what the understanding is between them and the surviving members.
Yeah, I mean, but at the time, like we said, they weren't the music they pumped out. It wasn't hitting its old marks anyway. Yeah. So it might have been a little more laxed on, you know what I mean, on what they...
It may have been. I don't know. I don't know enough about what the contract was.
Yeah.
It still is. If there still is a contract, maybe the agent got them out of that I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just talking straight on my ass.
You sure are, sir.
That's...
Anywho, that was spitballing music with the Ungruntled one. I need that as a sound bite. So, I'm gonna insert a little short break here. And now, a word from our sponsors.
Nailed it.
We here at the Creative Insomniac, which is a Black and biracial owned brand and business, would also like to support other Black and multicultural businesses. With that being said, this portion of the episode is sponsored by Limitlestics. Limitlestics is the study of knowing no limits in your life. It is an everyday mantra. I see no limits, I speak no limits, and I know no limits. It's not just a brand, it's a lifestyle. Head over to limitlestics.com where you can purchase merchandise such as shirts, tote bags, glassware, and mugs. They also do custom orders. If you have a vision, they can make it a reality. So again, head over to www.limitlestics.com. Again, the website is www.limitlestics.com.
All right. So, what else you want to talk about?
You tell me.
I don't know, man. We just supposed to be off the cuff right now. What else you want to talk about? I don't know what to talk about. We talked about music. That was pretty cool. We talked about the news. We could talk about how hot it is up here right now. Sweating. It is extremely hot.
My sweat is sweating.
Your sweat is sweating. Most disappointing, I don't know, something disappointing. Go.
Podcast.
Hey, yo. Yeah.
What the fuck?
That was your warning. That was your warning, sir. That was a warning. Don't let the crazy out. Worst first date. Go.
I wish I would have taken advice about 5.5 years ago.
Shut up. You love it. You love it. Worst first date.
Worst first date. What you giggling about? I mean, it wasn't that bad.
Worst first date.
I mean, I've been on dates where there was the most expensive items ordered on the menu.
Regale us in this tale. What expensive? How? What are we talking? Are we talking like?
So we're talking for a couple weeks. and we decide we're gonna go out on a date. So I pick her up. We go out. Beforehand, she tells me that she likes seafood.
Disclaimer: he is not talking about me, just so you know. You not. I have yet to order the most expensive thing. You know what? We're going to save that for another time. Go ahead.
So I'll pick her up, head on out to a really nice restaurant, seafood restaurant. We go out there, go through the menu. Both obviously got a bit of an appetite. Things are about, I don't know, $35, $40 on the menu. Most of the things for entrees, shit like that. There's some version of a paella dish that includes crabs and lobsters and the whole fucking nine. Shit is like in a bucket. It's not even on a plate, it's on a motherfucking bucket. The motherfucking dish was like $90.
Oh, hell no.
So I'll order what I order. And I ask her what she's going to order. And then she turns to the waiter and says, I'm going to get the bucket. I was like, yo, this bitch. So we sit there and we're talking. And the conversation is brutal, to say the least. Like, I'm not feeling it.
You gotta go into details. This is a podcast. We want to hear details, descriptions. Was she missing a tooth? Was the breath bad? Was it, I need to know.
No, I mean, like,
was the edge glue showing? What?
She presented fine. It wasn't her looks. It's just like you fucking trying to pry a conversation out of her. You're getting just like basic responses. It's like talking to somebody that is doesn't know how to carry a conversation, and that wasn't the type of person that I had spoken to for the last couple of weeks. At least that wasn't the impression that I got. So I guess some people, like, they're more comfortable having conversations when they're not in front of someone. When it's easier to text out your answers. Mm-hmm. So we're there, and we order what we're ordering, and we're talking, and I'm pulling out every stop, trying to have a conversation, jumping from one topic to the next. So, okay, so what's going on with this? What's going on? How's your day? You know, talk to me about work, whatever. Asking about this girl's work, and she does not even bother. And like, it's just this, like, I'm like, all right, this is rough.
This is after she ordered the bucket of paella.
Yeah, like, so, because at that point, you know, we out. She ordered whatever she ordered, and like, I'm not looking at it. And I'm not mumbling around. Motherfucking, most motherfucking expensive goddamn thing in the world. What the fuck's wrong with you? It only like really drove the point home when she was just shit company to be with. You know, like, it wouldn't have mattered if we had a good time. You know, because you go out on a date, you're expecting to spend money. But you're at least expecting, or at least hoping, to have a decent time. And, you know, you're not going out there expecting to get laid, but at least to have somebody to hold a conversation with.
Yeah, you know you lying about that last part.
No, but you at least want to be out there with somebody you can hold a conversation with. Cause,
yeah.
Like, you just fucking drowning out there when you do with somebody that you barely know, and they don't know how to hold a conversation or have no interest in holding a conversation. And you're just doing your own thing. So, like, prying and trying everything and asking her if she like what she willing to talk about or whatever the case may be, and it's just nothing, just brick wall. So I'm like, all right, food gets there, we eat and whatever. And after that, like, even during the time, like, I don't like to talk when I'm eating or whatever, but there was clearly no interest in back and forth conversation. So, long story short, we're towards the end of the meal, and I think I ate maybe about a little over half, and you can tell like she barely touched this motherfucking bucket. A whole goddamn bucket.
No, she didn't even eat
crabs
the bucket.
And lobster, and this motherfucker like just left that shit there, like most of it. And it was at that point where I was like, yo, you came out, you're a shit company to be with, you order the most expensive thing on the fucking menu, and then you don't even eat it. At the very least, eat the fucking thing you order. So it was at that point I was just like, nah, I'm done. We like got the check, wrote it out, threw her ass in the car and dropped her off. I was like, that's it. Like, I don't ever want to see you again.
To play devil's advocate, had she had scarfed down that entire bucket of paella with crab legs and whatnot, would you have seen her as disgusting?
No.
Greedy or something?
No.
Because maybe that's why she didn't finish it.
No, like it all just seemed as if none of the things outside of the conversation, the ordering the most expensive thing on the menu in and of itself didn't bother me. Eating like or even like getting 20% through your meal doesn't bother me. Alone. But when you go to it and you order the most expensive thing on the menu and then you don't even bother to eat like a fifth of it. It's like, what the fuck? What was the point?
What?
Why did you order the bucket? You didn't need a bucket if you weren't going to eat all of that. Go to a fucking appetizer for that.
What? Damn, you made me lose my train of thought. What? What were you asking her, though? Maybe it was a conversation, and what if it was you and the questions you asked? Maybe that wasn't up to her expectations, and you were... Because I know you. You can... See, I know you. You can get political, so were you, like, asking...
You know, we didn't...
Right on the first date?
No, we didn't touch anything controversial. I was piggybacking off of what we had already established conversations about. She had talked about her job and working with somebody that she didn't like, that always drove her, that got pissed her off and got her annoyed. Every woman has at least one person at their job that they can't stand. So we had a lot of, like, we went back and forth on that because we would be, throughout her days, and like she'd be texting me about this chick and how incompetent this person is and how they're unreliable and this and that. And so like we would crack jokes about this person left and right and shit. She would also talk about her sister. Her sister had was a couple years younger than her, and was she was borrowing her clothes, and so we had a few conversations about that. Like, this is years ago, so I'm trying to like just like recall this. Mm-hmm. But like, I'm not asking her about the fucking weather. Like, I'm asking her about things that we had already discussed. Like, they were like established topics that she had already had an interest in discussing about.
Did she reach out to you after?
She did. I did not
respond.
I did not reciprocate.
So I was like, did you guys see each other before, like picture-wise before?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know, man. I don't know.
we had met through a mutual friend, and so I don't know. There are people that will take dudes on dates
for meals
to order the most expensive shit.
What if that was a test? That was probably a test. She probably did that just to see how you would react. Like, what? Maybe she's talking to her homegirl, like, I'm going out with this dude, and he seems nice. And the person was probably like, look, if you want to test him out, right? And I'm not giving this kind of advice as a disclaimer.
Hear that, ladies?
I'm not. This is not
tried and true dating advice.
This is not dating advice. But they'll be like, why don't you go out with him and then order the most expensive thing on the menu and see what he does. If he has a problem with it, he broke. Don't waste your time.
Well, here's the thing about that,
That's
right?
so crazy, though.
My ass was broke, and I didn't.
And then you paid for the paella? Why?
It wasn't the paella. It was a motherfucking bucket of paella. So, yeah, my ass was broke at the time. Like, I had no career. I had nothing established. I had a job and barely that at that time. This is years ago. But all of that being said, I gladly failed the test, not because she ordered the most expensive thing, but because she was shit company. Like I said, had she ordered the motherfucking bucket, but it at least was decent company to be around, it wouldn't faze me.
Oh, so I could order the bucket?
You can order the bucket. Your ass won't pay for the motherfucking bucket.
No. What do you mean I gotta pay for the bucket? Why do I gotta pay for the bucket? I think I've proven to be decent company the last 5.5, 6 years. We going on 7.
It's a setup.
Yeah, danger, Will Robinson. You better tread carefully.
What's that? Oh, somebody's calling me downstairs. So yeah, what is your worst first date?
And that is all the time we have today, folks. Join us at our next off the cuff revisit. Let's see. First worst date. There's several. There's several. I would have to say, just to condense the story, when his girlfriend showed up, unbeknownst to me, when the girlfriend showed up that I had no idea of, and yeah. Oops, sorry. We're having a phone interruption right now.
It's his girlfriend.
Stupid. No, but like, I met this guy through a mutual friend, and we were both in the musician industry. That's as vague as I'm gonna put it. So we're both in the musician industry, and my mutual friend talked this person up to all holy hell. Yeah, he's a great person, great guy, yada yada yada, whatever. So then we started talking via Facebook, and then from Facebook we started talking through text message, and everything seems great, seems like a nice person, lot in common, awesome, just great. So we finally go on this date, and we go on this date, and it's going good. I might be jumping the gun here a little. It was going good, and then it was so long ago. I rarely remember what happened, but I remember my instincts being like, something's a little off here, when I finally was face to face with the person. And I'm trying to be as vague as possible on the off chance that this person is still stalking me and has stumbled upon this podcast. But yeah, we got to a restaurant. The girlfriend shows up halfway through the meal, and I don't know who this person is. She's like, I tracked you, talking to the guy. I tracked you through your purchases, because she was paying all of his accounts or something, and she worked at a bank, and she could see all of his payment. It was crazy. It was like some espionage shit, but kudos to her, because she rolled up on him, and she rolled up on him. She ain't come at me, because she knew that I had no clue what the hell was going on. So it was one of those times where, when most times where girlfriends will attack the other woman And, you know, but I don't know how she must have really been, like, going through his, like, Facebook and stuff and all his messages or whatever, because she knew I had absolutely no idea. And Facebook has this thing where if you're not friends with the person and they try to message you, it sends it to, like, this unknown folder or something, like requests or whatever. And you really don't know until you, like hardcore look on the desktop app. It can't be through, at the time, you couldn't see it through Facebook Messenger. You would have to be on, like, the desktop to see it. To see, like, there's another notification behind your normal notifications. But anyway, she had sent me a Facebook message and was trying to warn me that this, you know, this dude was lying to me or whatever. And then, she showed up at the restaurant and was like, "You son of a bitch." So that's how that went. And that was an awesome experience.
So 3 is not company?
No. I didn't order the pie in the bucket though.
But you ordered the girlfriend.
Yeah. He's here all night, folks.
Yeah. Yes, I am. So,
yeah.
Were utensils thrown?
I don't know. I kind of just got the hell out of Dodge. Like, they started arguing in, like, the parking lot, and it was like something out of, like, Jerry Springer and a novella. And it was just like, "How could you do this to me?" And then she turned around and started talking to me, not like arguing, but like talking to me, saying that he won't let her see her kid. And I was like, "Whoa, I don't, bruh." It's like, "He won't let me see my kid. He keeps me away from all of my friends, and he'll do the same thing to you." And I was like, "The fuck he will. I'm out of here. I don't know. I'm good. I gotta go. And
wow.
so, and there was like, it was crazy though. It got a little crazier after that, because she somehow managed to get my cell phone number from off of his phone and was calling me. And I was just like, "I really don't understand why you're calling me." And she was like, "Because I'm trying to convince you to give him a second chance." And I was like, "What in the sister wives hell is going on here?" And I told you this before. I was like, "What in the sister wives is you trying to do?" Like, "No, we not doing that. We not." And she's like, "You should give him another chance. He makes mistakes." And I'm like, "Aren't you his girlfriend? What the freak is actually going on?" And then I was just like, "I'm gonna block all of y'all." And then there was what I mentioned before, like the stalking. There was a point where they would like stalk my Facebook, both of them. So I don't know if this was like some kind of like,
oh man, crazy find crazy, right?
Netflix movie where like it was a plan and they were like trying to rope me into their menage a trois. I don't freaking know, but I got the hell out of there and I blocked them.
Yeah,
and then,
who knows if they were trying to use rope or whatever. But
stupid.
God damn.
They like at one point the dude rolled up to my old job and like I like jumped out of my skin, and then I had went and told security, like, "You see that person right there? Yeah, don't ever let him back in." Ever. And the crazy thing is, when he showed up at the job, right? 'Cause I used to work in attractions. So when he showed up at the job, he was going through the attraction and on his way out. And so I'm on my way to clock back in from lunch, and I have to walk through this hallway, and the hallway is connected to these elevators that the people exit out of, and he's walking with the girlfriend, and I make eye contact with both of them, and he like Heisman's her. He like Heisman's her into like the wall across. Like he legit hit her with the Heisman, and she like flew into the wall. And I remember like just did the mean like 180 and booked it back out.
All you heard in the distance was a little Miko like.
Like, I was like, what the hell? And then I just went to the security booth and I was like, you see that guy right there? Do not ever let him back in here. And then I kind of paraphrased the story and I was just like, no. Because I realized once he figured out where I worked that I was probably never going to be comfortable there again. So.
Sounds like an emotionally healthy guy.
That was the best first date ever.
Wow.
It's no bucket of paella story.
No, it's not. But there's somebody for everyone. Jesus Christ.
You got any stalker stories?
No stalker stories, no.
He lying through his teeth, y'all.
I do not want a stalker. I am very happy to say I do not have any stalker stories.
He lying through his teeth.
Those shit
That you know of.
harder to shed than fucking fleas.
You don't have a stalker story that you know of.
Yeah, because I haven't figured it out yet. Yeah, no. I feel like most stalker stories are just dudes that can't let go.
And females.
Yeah. I feel like a lot more of it's the guys, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll agree to that.
Crazy motherfuckers. A lot of those, like, if I can't have her, nobody will kind of shits. Yeah.
I don't think that's a sex thing, though. I think that's just...
That's a control thing.
Yeah, that could be male or female. It's like, if I can't have them, no one can have them. It's also a pride and ego thing, too, to see somebody else with someone you thought you could make it work with, and then you're like, well, what's wrong with me? You start flipping the fuck out.
Yeah, I can fuck with people. So I can fuck with some people.
Yep. So, anything else you want to tell the people? Because we've been on this for like an hour now.
No, I think that's
it. That's all you got?
That's a good place to leave it at. Words of advice. Don't bring the girlfriends on your dates.
You've heard it here first from the Ungruntled one. Don't bring your girlfriends on your first dates with the side hoe. It don't work out that well.
Unless they're into it, but you need to establish that beforehand, because then it can get messy in public and nobody want all of that.
Unless they're gonna order the bucket of paella and crab legs.
Greedy bitches. Just greedy bitches. Fuck. If you're gonna order the most expensive thing on the menu, at least not be shit company.
He's still mad about this, y'all.
Still.
He's still mad about this.
Still.
Alright. I'm gonna end this here. This was another interesting off-the-cuff episode. We talked about music. We talked about bands, possible collaborations, artist influences, things that make Chris Ungruntled, a bucket of paella, and stalkers. This has been a one riveting episode, and I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Find me on Patreon. Find me on YouTube. It's all the same name, the Creative Insomniac Podcast. Don't forget to comment who you think would be a good lead singer for Linkin Park. My vote is for Lacey Sturm, the lead singer, former lead singer of Flyleaf. Chris's option was Maria Brink.
No, I think when you staying strictly with female leads, female vocals, maybe. But I want to see if I had to choose Joel Birch of MA Affliction or Adam Granger, I think is his last name. Adam from formerly 3 Days Grace, San Estonia. So
you've heard it here. Put your thoughts in the comments, or send us a voice message through Anchor. You can also email me voice messages at thecreativeinsomniacbrand@gmail.com. You can also hit me up on Twitter, The Creative Insomniac, and on Instagram, The Creative Insomniac Podcast. And don't forget to check out the YouTube, check out the first video that's up. Support your small podcast, people, please. Support your small podcast. We'd appreciate it very much. And yeah, I am your host, Selena LeBron, and this is The Creative Insomniac.